And there was like a whole moment that I had with the sun. Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new, my name is Vivian. I am an educator, facilitator, healer, and ceremonial cacao guide. I work specifically with helping you heal subconscious and energetic blocks using spiritual wisdom and technologies such as crystals, cacao, and energy work, to name a few. Well, in today's video, I'm really excited to be doing this video. We're going to be talking about amethyst, and amethyst is absolutely one of my favorites, as it is for many other people. You know, I say that amethyst is a gateway. Amethyst is a gateway crystal, because once you get an amethyst, it's like the floodgates are just open and you're like obsessed with crystals and you need all of the crystals. And there's a reason for that, which I will get into. So first and foremost, I want to say that this video will be more about my own personal experience with amethyst, and it's going to be less about like the properties. There's tons and tons of videos and information out there about the properties of amethyst, and we're pretty much familiar with the basics, right? It's the stone of sobriety. It's really great for intuition, for dream work. It helps to calm. It's known as a spiritual stone. So we're not going to really go, down the bullet points of the properties of amethyst. I will be sharing my experience with you so that, okay, so here's my intention. My intention is to educate on how profound crystals are. They are an extremely advanced technology, and they can take you very, very deep. It is so much more than just, oh yeah, I can get an amethyst to help me sleep better. Oh yeah, I can get an amethyst to, work on my third eye. It's like so much more than that. And that's my intention of sharing my own personal experience, so that you can just get a glimpse. Because as far as I've gone, I feel like it's just a glimpse of what crystals can do. So, that being said, grab your popcorn. Grab your popcorn and get cozy, because I'm about to just start going off. Amethyst, like for many of you, was one of my first stones, one of the first stones that I ever purchased, and I got like a tumbled amethyst. I got a citrine. I feel like there was one more, which I can't really remember what it was. But I was just always so drawn to amethyst. Always. And purple wasn't even one of my favorite colors back then. But amethyst, I was just, really, there was a resonance, and I just felt like I needed it. And at that time, I wasn't super familiar and, super educated on crystals and the different properties and everything. So I was kind of just going off of like what you see on the papers at the crystal shop. So when I saw amethyst and then I read about it, I was just like, oh yeah, that's totally me. So amethyst was my first stone. The first crystal pendant that I ever purchased was a really beautifully wrapped amethyst, and it's just like I I went to Whole Foods one day and there's like a little pop-up shop in the parking lot, and I was just like, hey, this looks cool. So I'm taking a gander around, and I always go to the people who are selling crystals or stones, and I found this guy who had his artisanal crafts and the amethyst. I was just like, how much for this one? It was I mean, she still is. I still have this one. Beautiful. The first time I ever saw really like a root amethyst, you know, where the tip was just so rich, and you can see like the gradient of how it just, you know, was in the earth or in its matrix, and it is super wonderful, and it's still a super powerful tool, friend, and ally that I have. So she and I go way back, and you know, through my own learnings and crystal journeys and the work that I do with my teachers, I'm going to share a story, not a story, I'm going to share a bit of my journey with amethyst. So there are a few lesser known traits, qualities, superpowers that amethyst has, and one of those is that she is the mother. Amethyst is the spiritual mother. Now we know that this is a stone for, you know, connecting to your spirituality, is a stone of spirituality, spiritual power. But deeper than that, she is the spiritual mother, the overlighting spiritual mother. So this is an excellent ally when you are working with the divine feminine. If you want to connect more deeply to the divine feminine, if you want to work on any sort of mother wounds, if you feel like you're in need of that nurturance, amethyst, if you feel like you're in need of that guidance, solid mothering guidance, like some solid advice, amethyst. If you notice that I like sigh, it's because I'm like processing and assimilating the energy, and I have some strong amethyst with me here, as well as my channeling stone. So I really, that to me, when I learned this about amethyst, I was just like, she's what now? She's what? The spiritual mother? It blew my mind. It blew my mind, and it made my womb throb with just so much excitement. So more than just being a spiritual stone, she is a spiritual mother, an overlighting spiritual power that transcends dimensions, that transcends time, that transcends any box that you could possibly try to put it in. She is the spiritual mother. So I just invite you to think about that. If amethyst is a spiritual mother, what does she birth? What does she birth? If essentially everything comes from spirit, right? Okay. And second lesser known fact about amethyst, that's also really exciting. I know you guys, you're gonna love this. She's deeply connected to the waters and to Lemuria. And so I'm just gonna use that as a segue to share my experience with you. So when we went into this crystal journey, me and my crystal family, we connected to the etheric realms of the crystalline amethyst matrix, and I was taken first to a cave, and in that cave or from that cave, it was an amethyst cave, let's say that, an amethyst cave. There were amethyst beings, and they guided me into what looked kind of just like a cenote, and I went into the cenote in the water, and that led to the ocean. So all of a sudden I'm in the ocean, but it was like an amethyst ocean. The hue of the water was spectacular, and I'm having a great time. Once I'm in the water, I'm like, pew, like I'm swimming and twirling and just like really like dancing within the water and really feeling so free and so just like, wow, this is where I want to be all the time. So at some point, like I come into a point where I'm just like floating, suspended beneath the water. And then I am approached by mer people. And I've always been super connected to mermaids and the mer people, in case you haven't noticed by my hair. Like that's my vibe. And so I was approached by these mer people, and they started to work on me, doing like some clearings and some activations. It was really, really powerful, like energetically feeling the energy that was moving through my body. And it wasn't just mer people, it was also like fishes and sea creatures, and I end up in the middle of a vortex that's just like spinning in the water. I don't, what are they called when those things form in the water? The spiral, the whirlpools, I think they're called whirlpools. So I'm in that, and I'm just receiving, and then I came to a point where I felt so much sadness. It was a deep, deep sadness, deep grief. And for anyone who identifies as a starseed or anything of that nature, or for anyone who's like really empathetic or who feels a very strong connection to the earth and all of her creatures, and you'll know what I mean. This sadness was because of how disconnected humanity has become. It was heart-wrenching sadness. Like, oh my gosh. They've forgotten. They forgot about their connection to a great mother. They forgot about their connection to the water, to the animals, to all their relations. they forgot about their connection to themselves. And I felt such a sadness. It was really powerful, you know, because I wasn't experiencing those emotions from a human level. You know, it was a sadness that was coming from the soul level. You know, the soul level that recognizes and remembers what it is to be in unity. And after I had that moment, so then after that moment, you know, I feel that, I process that, and I end up now swimming to the surface. What happened then? I swam to the surface, yeah, and I peeked my head up above the water, and I'm just looking at a cloud that's in the shape of a fish head right now. So I pick my head up and I'm above water and I see an island and it looks amazing. It's awesome. Definitely giving like Moana, like Moana vibes, Avatar Way of Water. So, you know, I'm like swimming to the shore, more like to the beach side, and then I'm greeted by more water people, and I recognize them. Not so much their faces or anything like that, but definitely their essence. And you know, at first I was kind of like they look like Avatar people, you know, like they look like Avatar people. Am I just like making this up from the movie, you know? And that happens, right? Sometimes we go into these experiences and we're like, hold on, am I just making this up because I saw this movie or I watched this show or I read this book? Well, the thing is you're not making it up. However, your subconscious, well, not however, what's actually happening is that your subconscious is using familiar expressions and familiar imprints to relay the messages to you, right? Because we are more receptive to what is familiar. You know, if something is just totally way out there, we're gonna be like, also WTF, like I'm a little freaked out. So the subconscious, you know, through the guidance of the higher self, will use more familiar impressions to, like I said, relay those messages. So yeah, I see these like water people and I'm so excited, you know, because I recognize them and they really felt like family. And if you have watched my previous crystal therapy experience videos, if you haven't, I recommend you watch them because I talk about the water beings there as well. So definitely go and listen to that because that was also like a crazy trip. So there are these beings, and now in this journey they were a bit more like physical, not just like water. Like I said, they reminded me of the Avatar Way of Water people. Not like exactly, but that's kind of just like somewhat their form, their expression that they took, and they were super happy to see me. It was kind of like this homecoming of like, oh my gosh, there she is. And I was just greeted with so much excitement, so much love, so much joy there. And I'm just like fast forwarding a little bit. And there was like a whole moment that I had with the sun. I had a whole moment with the sun, and it was a different sun. You know, it wasn't our sun, it was a different sun. It was a spiritual sun, and I guess the sun of this amethyst realm that I was in. And it was really wonderful to be with the water. The water was absolutely alive, and to also be with the sun and receive those codes from the sun. Like, that was full-on activation. I was like levitating, you know, in the journey, not like in my physical body that I know of. And just receiving the codes, like activating, like so after that activation, I said my farewells to my super beloved family. You know, we can call them just Lemurian. Sure. I'm sure that was just a connection to the Lemurian dimension in my Lemurian family. So I came back, or I left the same way I came back. It's usually important. And so when I come out of the cenote, I am back in the Amethyst cave. And at this point, the amethyst is like lighting up. It's lighting up, lighting up, lighting up. And to be honest, I'm not entirely sure if this was in the same journey or in another journey that I did after that. But I was met with an aspect of myself and this was really powerful for me because we've met before. The first time I ever did a shamanic journey, I ended up in a cave, in a similar cave, with this woman who was me from another timeline, perhaps even from like another dimension. And in that first shamanic journey, again, it was my first one, and then after that I was kind of like, what the fuck? I was like, okay, either that was really cool or I just made all of that up. And that's doubt, right? So when we're first starting on our spiritual journey, there can be so much doubt when there are wounds that we haven't healed within us. It shows up as doubt, in doubting our gifts. You know, I never had any doubt in the supernatural because I've seen it and I have experienced it firsthand from a very early age. So it's not that I didn't believe in like anything supernatural or magical or mystical. I didn't need to believe because, you know, I knew through my own experience. But it was that doubt in self, like not believing in your gifts and not having that confidence in who you are and what you can access. And that's what creates that doubt, or that doubt, the questioning of what you see or what you experience. So I definitely had that, like, okay, either that was really cool, or I just used my imagination to act like I was on a journey. And I took myself to Atlantis. At that moment, it reminded me of the movie Atlantis, the cartoon. I don't remember when it came out, like maybe in the 90s or something like that, 90s or early 2000s. But that was the same woman that showed up again in this journey, or the same aspect of me. However, in this journey, it was a much better re-encounter. I mean, I won't say that was much better, but it was different. This encounter was different because when I first met her, there was a big sense of urgency where she was like, you need to remember. I need you to remember, like, remember who you are. Remember how powerful you are. So in that first journey, I was kind of like, I was like, okay. Okay, sure. I'll do that. Person that I just fabricated in my imagination. But this time, I was kind of getting like that pat on the back and that congratulations sort of energy. So it was a really nice reunion, and interesting to come back to that, right? Because when we talk about our healing journey or our spiritual journey, it's not linear. It's not a linear experience. It moves cyclically and in spirals. And so, it's like I made a full loop around the spiral and came back to that same spot, but on the next octave. And in that next octave, it's me returning back to me, to this place, but as a different version of me, a different expression of me. It's me coming back on this spiral, on the next octave, from my place of power. And so that's what I'll share. I've had many more journeys with my babies, but that's what I'll share because it was super powerful. And I don't typically share like all of my experience. Some things need to be kept for you while you integrate them. However, I wanted to share this experience because, like I said earlier in this video, it's really important for me, for everyone, at least the people that are interested in crystals or alternative healing, to not underestimate crystals. They're incredibly underestimated. And yet, they are one of the most highly advanced technologies that we have. And I feel incredibly honored and incredibly blessed to work with crystals in the way that I do. And it's not something that I take lightly. It's a huge responsibility. And in the way that I do this work, it needs to be someone who is trustworthy and who's not going to abuse this technology. You know, so I feel very honored, very privileged to have been given access to work with crystals in this way. And something else that I'll share about Amethyst that that's really beautiful and really special for you to know if you are drawn to amethyst, if you feel that this wonderful stone calls to you. Amethyst, this beautiful, wonderful, lovely mother, she will call to people who are willing to not only work for themselves. She will call to people who are also willing to work on behalf of the collective. And I'm saying this especially now because I know a lot of people are feeling very affected by what's happening globally. And so if you do have an amethyst, connect with her. Connect with her and pray with her. Pray that humanity remembers their connection to Source, that humanity remember the connection to all their relations, their brethren, and not just human relations, animal as well. Pray that humanity remembers their connection to the earth, to the natural realm, and that they are to be the caretakers of this earth, to tend to the land, to respect and honor the waters, to respect and honor each other. Pray that humanity unifies in the name of love. Not this side or that side. None of that duality shit, because duality is separation. Okay? And it's because of that whole separation that there's so much conflict. And when you pray with an amethyst, because it is a stone of spiritual power, those prayers will be amplified. And then brought back in their amplified form. And I will say this just as a caution as well, just to make sure that we're not praying from any sort of bias. You can ask that any prayers that you whisper to your amethyst, when they travel up in the amethyst spiral to be amplified, ask that they be purified of any egoic request. Because sometimes, we have the intention and we think that we're praying for the collective, for the highest good. But sometimes there's that sneaky little ego that chimes in there. And it can be very subtle, just in the way that we form our sentences or use our words. you know, so just as a CYA, you can say that. And if you really want to do some work on behalf of the collective, you can pray with your amethyst, program it for with a prayer, you know, a prayer that benefits the highest good of all. And then you can offer it to the earth. You can seed it into the earth, you can bury it in the ground, you can offer it to a lake, a river, a stream, to the ocean. But connect. Ooh. Well, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed my story, my amethyst journey. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them down below. I'll be sure to get back to you. And if you are interested in exploring these more advanced forms of crystal healing, then I invite you to work with me one-on-one or in my upcoming container called the Chrysalis. So the Chrysalis is a 14-week program, and this program is curated to assist you in overcoming limiting beliefs, getting rid of energetic blocks, and that shows up in many forms. It can be energetic implants, it can be entity attachments, it can be energetic cords, clearing through that so that you can raise your vibration and actually start to remember who you are. To start to remember what your purpose is, your life purpose, your purpose here on earth. To start living with more integrity. To start feeling more fulfillment. Having the courage and the confidence to show up as your authentic self. Having the courage and the confidence to go after what you actually really want. To get out of this loop. To get out of the cycle of being stuck. Aren't you sick of being stuck? I know I was sick of being stuck. So in the Chrysalis, we go deep, okay? You have to be ready to witness yourself, to do the shadow work, right? Because it's gonna be a lot of shadow work because we are working with the subconscious and we are working with what has been suppressed. So you need to be willing and ready to face that. And in facing it, ciao. Transmuting and releasing it. So we're working with the very heavily with the subconscious mental body. We're working very heavily with the energetic bodies. We're working with the emotional body, right? Because through the crystal therapy, we're also working through repressed emotions. And in addition to all of that, we are also going to be learning a lot about the mind, learning a lot about yourself, creating new neural networks that create a supportive framework for the type of person and the type of life that you actually want to have lived. And so that's 14 weeks, 3.5 months. The time is gonna pass whether you join or not, so you might as well do something do something that is actually beneficial and will take you in the direction of your dreams. So the link for that is in the description below. If you're not ready to do the Chrysalis just yet, I may have some one-on-one slots available. However, I don't recommend just one-off sessions. This work is more effective done on a more committed and consistent basis. So there are packages available as well that include my other services to help to work. I don't want to say like amplify, because we don't want to amplify anything too much because that's not necessarily helpful, but to work synergistically with everything that's going on with the crystal therapies and your energy work. So yeah, I'll leave the description, the link to my website in the description. And one more thing, I have a women's retreat coming up in Guatemala. That is March 25th to the 30th of 2024. And it's Sacred Woman Retreat. It's an extremely powerful portal for not only womb healing, but womb empowerment. You can find a bunch of testimonials on my page from the women who participated in the last retreat. And they literally all say that it's transformational. I'm just like, I was like, the fact that they all chose those same word, transformational. I was like, people might think that this is like scripted, but it's not. Anyhow, I will leave you guys for now. Thank you so much for watching the entirety of this video. I love being able to share about things that I am very passionate about, and I hope that with my shares I can inspire you to inspire through my own experience, right? To be an example. So I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Looking forward to your comments.